Education is my social advocacy. To educate young children is to teach life, and I take it seriously. I created this podcast with the intent to reignite educators who also feel education is a means of social justice. We'll talk about current events, hot topics, answer your questions, and create a better understanding of education. This is not a podcast for crafting ideas, gradebook techniques, or for your teacher voice. This is a podcast for you to open your mind, to ask yourself the tough questions, and for you to become a better, more conscious teacher by understanding yourself first. Now that you understand the mission of the podcast, let's get started. So right now, I'm a rising third-year teacher. I taught first grade, third grade, pre-K, and this coming year, I'll teach kindergarten. In my transitional period this summer, I've had to evaluate what it means to be a teacher, especially for me now as a new kindergarten teacher. So I had to discover my educational philosophy again, reignite it, and rediscover it. And I'll teach you my process. Now, the first thing that I did was I started with an educational or civil rights activist. Now, this is important for me because I use education as my social justice outlet. I picked James Baldwin because I had seen the documentary I Am Not Your Negro, which is a great documentary, and if you haven't seen it, definitely rent it. It's on iTunes or Amazon Video right now. And so I analyzed his work because I found myself connecting to what he was saying in that documentary. Now, obviously, you do not have to pick James Baldwin. You can pick any civil rights advocate that you really connect with. And it's also important to note that some great writers may not have had a formal education or platform to write a dissertation or an academic paper. So it's okay to use a simple quote to use that as the basis of your educational philosophy. Now, after you've picked your advocate or advocates, it doesn't have to just be one. It can be multiple people. Analyze their work. Analyze their struggle. Go beyond what biography.com has written about them. Truly understand what their platform was. And the last step to creating your educational philosophy is to write down what speaks to you. Write down your true feelings. And I'll read you mine. Education is meant to disrupt, to dismantle, to rebuild, and to reinvent. The classroom is a means of expression for rage against the machine. Forms of life have to exist inside my four walls so my students know that life is present. A sense of value has to be true for all of my students. Our society glorifies bringing the value of Black and brown people to minuscule levels, even though our society couldn't function without us. So, I have to instill respect for my children so that they understand their value and worth before they are told their value by someone who does not understand their struggle. It is imperative at a young age that children are instilled with a sense of responsibility to help others, the world, and most importantly themselves. Children must be taught that the energy they possess has tremendous power, and utilizing that power is how you enact and create systemic change. If you'd like further resources on creating your educational philosophy, head over to theblackapple.org for more resources. Thanks, and remember, education is power, knowledge is sweet. Thank you, and remember, education is power, but knowledge is sweet.